Dear listener, welcome back to another episode from the Winning X Talks podcast. I am Vishwanath, your host. I'm a sports mental conditioning coach, counselor, and sports mental performance analyst. I'm the author of the book Success Mantra in Sports, a book on the mental aspects of sports. The topic for my episode today is the rise and fall of Manchester United Football Club and the impact of Cristiano Ronaldo on the club. Folks, if you follow English Premier League closely and you are a Manchester United buff, then this episode is for you. The Premier League, introduced in 1992, is one of the most popular football competitions in the world. The Premier League is contested by 20 clubs. It's the most watched sports league in the world, broadcast in 212 territories to 643 million homes, a potential TV audience of 4.7 billion people. For the 2018-19 season, the average Premier League match attendance was at 38,181, second to the German League Football Championship Bundesliga, which stood at 43,500, while aggregated attendance across all matches is the highest of any association football league, is at 114,508,981. Most stadium occupancies are near capacity. Manchester United is hailed as the most successful club in England, having won a record 20 league titles, 12 FA Cups, 5 League Cups, 21 FA Community Shields, 3 European Cups, the UEFA Champions League, 1 UEFA Europa League, 1 UEFA Super Cup, 1 UEFA Winners' Cup, 1 Continental Cup, and 1 FIFA Club World Cup. The club reached its highest point that no other British football club had ever reached before. In 1998-99 season, the team led by Sir Alex Ferguson won the treble. It's called as a treble when the team wins a Premier League, UEFA Championship and FA Cup all in the same season. Sir Alex Ferguson, or Fergie as he is popularly known as, is the club's longest serving and the most successful manager, winning 35 trophies during his 27-year reign as manager. He won 13 Premier Leagues, 5 FA Cups, 2 Champions League titles. In the year 2005, the Glazer family took over the major controlling interest in the club. They went on to own the Manchester United. On the 8th May 2013, Sir Alex Ferguson announced his retirement from United after leaving behind a legacy that can arguably never be surpassed. Since 2013, 8 managers have been tried, 4 permanent managers have been sacked, and countless amounts of money spent recklessly on players that are not even in the playing squad today. All the while being overtaken on and off the pitch by fierce rivals Manchester City and Liverpool. In 2021, a sensational thing happened for Manchester United with the return of one of the greats of the game and most exciting and prolific player, Cristiano Ronaldo. He first came to the United back in 2003 as a lanky, inexperienced and raw 18-year-old. By the time he left United in 2009, he had turned into a ruthless machine on and off the pitch. He fired United to 3 back-to-back Premier League titles between 2006 and 2009, whilst helping United to reach 2 Champions League finals, winning one of them in 2008. Ronaldo left United in 2009 because Real Madrid had come calling and Ronaldo had promised his father that he would play for Real Madrid one day. His homecoming in 2021 lifted the spirits of the United fan base and also kindled the expectation of winning the Premier League for the first time since 2013. But things didn't go as planned, as United ended up having the worst season in the Premier League era, finishing 6th with 58 points and a 0-goal difference. The current season in 2022, with 2 games, United are already left behind by the likes of Manchester City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, etc. Is Ronaldo a factor in the decline of Manchester United? The answer is a big no, because the decline of this club started in 2005 itself, when the Glazers took over the club, and the decline became apparent after 2013 when Fergie retired. But having said that, Manchester United in the year 2019-20 and 2021 seasons finished 3rd and 2nd respectively, which were the best seasons after Fergie retired. Ronaldo was added to a squad that had finished 2nd the previous season, and the immediate expectation was that he would fire the club to the 1st place the coming season. But that didn't happen. What is Ronaldo's impact on the recent failures of the club? I have analyzed a few factors which I bring to you. Firstly, for the fans. Let me speak of the positives first. The United fans believed that they would win the title again with Ronaldo in the squad. Ronaldo gave the fans the belief that he would turn up savior whenever needed, and most of the time he did. Him coming back to the club was a massive bundle of happiness and excitement for the fans. Now the negatives. The arrival of Ronaldo caused a divide within the fan base, as one part of it felt he couldn't and shouldn't be criticized for the poor performances of the club, whereas the other part of the fan base thought he was majorly responsible for what was going on at the club. Ronaldo never came over to clap the fans and show appreciation when the team lost away from home or even at home. Now for the players, the positives. He inspired the other players with his work ethic, dedication to the craft, with his hard work, and that never say die attitude. He inspired others to look after their diets and their bodies in the best possible way. Before he came to the club, there were desserts being served with the meals, but players stopped eating desserts after seeing Ronaldo's food habits and his fitness. He instilled accountability for other players on and off the pitch. He struck fear into the hearts of the opposition players, which would force them to take decisions that they normally wouldn't take. For example, marking him more and leaving other player wide open or free. The negatives. He put fear into the minds and hearts of his teammates who couldn't give their best in his presence. Maybe they were conscious of his presence and trying too hard to live up to his standards. He formed cliques or groups with the Portuguese-speaking players, and that led to the dressing room being divided into Portuguese and English-speaking groups. He sometimes berated the players when they didn't pass to him or didn't set up a goal for him in front of all the media, fans, etc. those present in the stadium. He was too unapproachable and sulked when the team didn't win. Now, his contribution for the club, the positives. He boosted the share price and the commercial revenues of the club exponentially since he has come in. He brings goals and sets standards for the club to achieve for itself and for him. He is a person within the club that has a lot of power and influence. The negatives for the club. All the positives stated above could act as negatives as well, because the fans hate the owners to always look at the profits, commercial revenue, and bottom line per se is Ronaldo fits into the category that was good for the commercial value and revenue part of the club, but was bad for the footballing side of the club. Having said that, it is not fair to say that Ronaldo has had a negative impact on the downfall of the club. He is not the biggest problem at the club, and he's also not the biggest reason or factor why this once great football club is now in a decline. The anger for the poor performance on and off the pitch should be placed solely on the owners, the Glazer family. Speaking for Ronaldo, he is just a cog in the wheel. He can't change everything above him, and what is happening above him is what is causing the club's downfall on the pitch and off it as well. It is right for the fans to direct some anger towards Ronaldo, and that is justified. But the majority of the anger and protest and dissent must be placed on the owners and the team management of one of Premier League's most successful and popular clubs. As I record this episode on the 22nd, Manchester United recorded its first victory over Liverpool when they convincingly beat the Liverpool side. We all know that Manchester United has hit the rock bottom. With this victory over Liverpool, can we hope that this great side will rise again? Fingers crossed. Dear listener, the fans are the life of any football club. Manchester United has 1.1 billion fans and followers. And these fans are obviously disappointed with the decline of Manchester United. I spoke to a few ardent Manchester United fans, and this is what they had to say about why the rot in Manchester United has taken place and what led to their downfall. Initially the ups and now the downs. And let's go with Ranveer Gurjer first. Ranveer, I welcome you to the talk show. Kindly introduce yourself. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ranveer Gurjer, and I'm a graduate from Deakin University, the Masters of Sport Business Management. I'm currently an athlete whose 5,000 meter PB is 16:45, and I would like to thank Mr. M.N. Vishwanath for giving me this opportunity to discuss the current state of affairs at Manchester United.
Thank you, Ranveer. I have some questions for you. Have Manchester United failed in succession with their planning after the departure of Sir Alex Ferguson?
To answer that question, firstly, the biggest problem currently in Manchester United's plate, irrespective of performance, is the lack of not having a permanent manager. So the most pressing issue at the club is the appointment of the next permanent manager. Since Alex Ferguson had retired in 2013 after nearly 27 years at Old Trafford, United have employed 4 different coaches in full-time roles, and none of them have even lasted for 3 years. So David Moyes succeeded Alex Ferguson for the 2014 and 2015 season, where Manchester United finished 7th, following which he was sacked, which led to Louis van Gaal coming in, where United finished in 2nd place, and Louis van Gaal had spent 200 million in the transfer window, and they'd signed the likes of Angel Di Maria, Juan Mata, Bastian Schweinsteiger, and Romelu Lukaku. But however, the following season, Manchester United again finished in 7th, and which resulted in Van Gaal being sacked. He was succeeded by Jose Mourinho, and Jose Mourinho in his first season ensured Manchester United finished in 7th, but however, the following season they came 2nd. But because there were underlying issues between the club and Jose Mourinho, he was sacked again. And then Jose Mourinho was succeeded by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Solskjaer's seasons were 2nd, 3rd, and 6th respectively, following which he was sacked, and Rafael Rangnick was the interim manager. And then after he was stepped down, Erik ten Hag became manager. So what's happened in all of this, United, given their rich history of success, expect instant success with all managers, and they haven't let managers really build time and get used to the club. Hence, they failed in succession planning.
Have Manchester United missed an opportunity to bring in new talent and develop a strong squad with sufficient bench strength?
Look, a few months ago, Paul Pogba's exit from Manchester United on a free transfer at the end of the 2021-2022 campaign seemed like a foregone conclusion. However, since his return a few weeks ago, after nearly 3 months out, the Frenchman has quietly been one of United's best players. It's no secret that Manchester United's problem lies in the midfield on his day, and Pogba is the team's most creative force. However, the prospect of losing Pogba on a free transfer for a second time is also unappealing, especially since he has the club's record signing at 94 million paid to Juventus in 2016. Reports have also claimed that Pogba is open to moving to another club. Losing him for free would be a direct nightmare for the club. So, based on current evidence, as Manchester United haven't signed anyone significant over the transfer window, like how Chelsea had signed the likes of Raheem Sterling. So hence, yes, they have missed great opportunities in the transfer window to strengthen their squad with international quality.
The other teams like Liverpool and Manchester City have changed their style of play. Is Manchester United sticking to their old style of play? Have they made any changes?
Firstly, with Manchester United, it does appear to a team which is confused and is playing with the fear of failure in each game, as they've made a lot of schoolboy errors so far in all the games they've played. Like if you look at the recent game against Bournemouth, where David De Gea led through regulation saves through his hands, which went into the goal. And the team hasn't really settled in and come into a style of play, so they're unsure whether to go ahead with their old style of play or to adapt to the way modern teams are playing. Because in the first game against Brighton, they've played a 4-3-2-1 combination. And in the last game against Bournemouth, they played a 5-4-3-2 combination. So yes, they primarily under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as well, like what they used to do in the years of old, set up the game of the backline, which worked well when you had quality wingers and the likes of Ryan Giggs. But today's game is more of a counter-attacking game, which United have failed to adapt to, and that's why they get caught napping often.
My next question. See, Manchester United has changed at least 7 managers since the exit of Alex Ferguson. And obviously, each manager they recruit is compared to Alex Ferguson, and they are expected to live up to the legacy of Alex Ferguson. Has this comparison happened with Manchester, and how has it affected their leadership as far as the manager role is concerned?
Yes. Firstly, they have really been struggling to come to terms with the fact that they need to rebuild after Sir Alex Ferguson is gone. And when you rebuild anything, you're starting from ground zero. So it would take them time to get back to where they were, which they aren't giving new managers time to impose their style of play on the team and help the team get comfortable. Because once you start maturing players and create a secure breeding ground for players, it becomes a lot more easier for players to succeed. Like you look at Manchester City or Liverpool, Pep Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp have believed in retaining players, nurturing them, which helps them succeed eventually. Whereas Manchester United, they keep changing managers, and there's a lot of turmoil within the board, which results in players being unhappy as well. Because, for instance, the Manchester United training ground hasn't been changed over the last 11 years, and facilities within the stadium, which has left fans being disappointed with the club. Whereas Manchester City has had their training ground refurbished every 2 years. And by far and large, the owners have taken a more reactive than a proactive approach.
Is there anything you want to add quickly?
Yes, the other question I would like to see in terms of a change for Manchester United is whether now they have to come to a conclusion between David De Gea and Dean Henderson. And David De Gea, who's undoubtedly been one of Manchester United's best players this season, and he's in all likelihood to pick up a record fifth-year signing. But however, he didn't have a great last season, and he's had 2 very poor games to start the season. And at the age of 31, time is running out on his hand. So it would be time for Manchester United. I'd be keen to see them playing Dean Henderson in tonight's game, as he's England's #1 goalkeeper. So the time to start moving forward starts from today.
Okay. Ranveer, thank you for coming on my podcast. You were awesome. Thank you very much.
Anand Sindhu, please introduce yourself.
First of all, thank you for having me here.
We met some time back for the Euro final podcast. So, really nice to come back and speak to you. My name is Anand, and I have worked for 6+ years in the football ecosystem. First with Delhi Dynamos Football Club, and recently I was working with the Delhi Football Association and handling the competition regulations and the state football, men's league. And earlier I was handling the youth football development with Delhi Dynamos. So this is in brief about my sporting journey so far. Yeah, over to you.
Anand, thank you for your nice introduction. I remember I had you on that Euro final show when we discussed about the prospects of the two finalists. Yeah, it is nice to have you again on the show. Now, the topic of my episode today is what is the reason for the decline of Manchester United?
I mean, it's a huge question because Sir Alex left United in 2013. And since 2013, United has not seen the light at the end of the tunnel. Be it in terms of performance on the ground, be it their signings that they have made in the transfer window, be it longevity in terms of coaching. You know, coaches have come and they've gone without making a significant impact. And the problems are plenty. The board has been acting spineless as well. They haven't come out with a long-term plan. Although they write it that we are bringing this manager with long-term vision, but they end up firing or sacking the manager after 3 years at max. The board is lacking a lot of spine. And that is why there are a lot of talks about the ownership changing at United. And Sir Ratcliffe is one of the names that have just come out in the last few days where United's ownership might move to someone else. The cost of United at the moment reported is $5 billion. So if you have $5 billion, you're most welcome to buy the club. And but yes, there are multiple checks as well. However, not digressing away from the declining matter. I mean, there are examples of clubs, where a lot hasn't worked. For example, Chelsea. When we see Chelsea, they keep changing their players, they keep changing their managers. Yet after 2000, they are the most successful English team out there. They have won the most number of Champions League, and in terms of Premier League titles as well, they have won quite a few. So they're the most successful English team after the 2000, after the year 2000. And United can learn a lot from that. I mean, whatever is happening behind or off the pitch, the players have to take responsibility, the coaches have to take responsibility. Whatever players you have, whatever staff you have to make the most out of it, and you have to produce a good performance. Because irrespective of how the board is doing, irrespective of how the scouting is happening, the players who are at the club are kind of good enough to be professionals, and that is why they're here. And they have suddenly not stepped up, and even the coaching has been kind of not so good. So yeah, I mean, it's an amalgam of errors at all corners, and that is what I feel is wrong at United. The culture has definitely gone wrong, which kind of trickled down from the ownership. But yeah, it's a huge mess, and the best thing about United right now, and for all United fans right now, is that United has hit rock bottom, and because they have hit rock bottom, the only way up is the only way forward is up. Yeah. Secondly, at the same time, the problems that we've seen are kind of really basic problems. For example, the last match that United played, they lost to Brentford. and they ran 9 miles lesser than Brentford. Cumulative, all the players ran 9 miles less than the Brentford team. So these are basic, which can be sorted out in training. To play one-touch football or to play football in triangles. These are kind of basics which a lot of teams have started doing. Teams like Crystal Palace, teams like Brighton, they've been doing this really well. Crystal Palace drew 1-1 against Liverpool last week, and Brighton defeated United 2-1 in the opening match of the Premier League season this year. So these teams with limited budget are doing well on the pitch, and that just shows that if you get your basics sorted, at least you will be pleasant to see. At least you will play an attractive brand of football that is associated with United over the last, not the last 10 years, but before when Sir Alex was here, we were always associated with attractive football. So, for example, you can take examples of Leeds United, limited budget, but yet they're doing it, they're so pleasant when you see them playing football. So these are kind of the things which United can definitely work towards, and they can work towards. And thankfully, Erik ten Hag is a guy who has done really well with limited budget. Managers who were here at United before Erik ten Hag actually had a lot of budget in their previous club. For example, Jose Mourinho coming in from the likes of Chelsea, Real Madrid. At United, he got plenty of money to use. Then there was Louis van Gaal. Even he had a lot of money to use. And now we have coming from Ajax. And at Ajax, there were limited resources in terms of budget. So he can work with the minimals. And at United, if he goes on to work on minimals and gets the basic right, it can be better pretty much. Yeah, it can be better pretty soon, or maybe in a year or two.
Anand, thank you. The constant chopping and changing that has impacted the players who have been retained, and even every time new players come into the team, and for a team to get used to each other and build as a team and a unit, it takes time. And constant changes will affect the cohesion, the understanding, the cooperation, and they may not be able to fit into the team goal. And with regard to Ronaldo, again there is a lot of confusion to have a superstar in the team who would like to have his own way, and I don't know how much it has impacted. So please go ahead. I want to know your opinion.
Yeah, but like I said earlier, 2 years back, Chelsea sacked Frank Lampard midway. Okay, midway into the season, Chelsea sacked Lampard. Thomas Tuchel comes in, wins the Champions League with Chelsea. Okay, that's a change of manager, change of style. They beat Manchester City in the Champions League final. The point that I'm trying to draw here is, yes, everything affects, and it's a cumulative of a lot of errors. Okay, be it manager changes, be it player changes, be it scouting changes. Because say a previous manager will have different set of scouts and different sort of philosophy about what sort of players he wanted. But then in the end, these are all professional players, and they have their mentoring sessions, counseling sessions over there with clubs these days. So it is about character for sure. And to play for a club like United, you need to have a big character. And I cannot. What I'm unable to understand is, like, how come all the players in the team, they don't have character? Because sometimes all you need is one character in the team. One character who can kind of ignite everyone. We've heard in the past the likes of Roy Keane, one person who used to ignite everybody on the field. So sometimes it takes one person to really ignite. But yes, characters are required in plenty. But at the same time, all the things that are happening behind the scenes, yes, they are a problem. Doesn't mean a team cannot play beautiful or good football.
Okay.
And the second part of your question, which was about Ronaldo, I mean, Ronaldo was signed last year. We all know why he was signed. He was not part of the plan. He was signed because his agent offered Ronaldo to Manchester City. And City are noisy neighbours and rivals of United. So the United board, the United fan base, the United coaches felt that this is something which we can't let, we can't let it happen. And that's the main reason United went in for Ronaldo.
Okay.
And Ronaldo came back to United, and after coming back, he is the top scorer. He was the top scorer for United last year.
Okay.
So, I mean, he's done a good job, for sure. This year, yes, he has disrupted the dressing room because there are questions about his future, whether he's going to stay at United or not. And there are questions about his press style. So the new manager at United, Erik ten Hag, he wants his players to press a lot, and starting from the strikers. And Ronaldo, being 37 years old, definitely lacks that. But Ronaldo has never been known for pressing. Even when he was 18 or 20, he was never been known for pressing. When a guy scores more than 700 goals in his career, I think you can let him go if he's not let go of him if he's not pressing as such. And there are other players in the squad who can press for him. And plus, he can also be a valuable substitute this season. You know, coming in, say, after the 45 minutes, and especially with 5 substitutions, he can always be handy. He can always start, give good 45 minutes, and then go on the bench. Although it's difficult to put Ronaldo on the bench, but yeah, I mean, Ronaldo will definitely understand, because there are so many analysis these days. When a coach shows Ronaldo that you're not running as much as you should be, and probably this is because of your age or something, and Ronaldo would be wise enough to understand. But I think so far Ronaldo, we can't label it as a flop signing, because he scored the most number of goals for United last year. Okay. And this season has just begun. So, I mean, yeah, you will hear from loads of people that signing Ronaldo was a mistake and all that stuff. But, I mean, I would ask every fan out there, is signing Ronaldo the biggest mistake? Or there are plenty more out there, and let's tackle those and then probably come back to Ronaldo. I mean, the only fair comment I understand Ronaldo is that why are you signing a 36-year-old? Fair enough, I understand. You should look for the future. But understand this thing. The club, the manager who signed Ronaldo is no longer at the club. So it's the problem of the club and the owners, and not of the team or of the... Yeah.
Thank you, Anand. Okay. Thank you very much. It was nice having you.
Pleasure.
Thank you very much.
To talk to you as well.
I spoke to Mr. Avinash from Dubai, and this is what he said.
Hi there. My name is Avinash, and I am from Dubai. I am a football coach at grassroots level for under 10, under 12, and under 14. So I am a Manchester United fan, and I am here to speak about the conundrum that is happening and the chaos that has happened over the last 10 years, and how this great club has fallen from grace. So Sir Alex Ferguson retired in 2013. We went on to win a historic 21st Premier League title, and David Moyes took over, of course, but it also saw the end of David Gill, his time, 2 big personalities retiring by leaving the club in absolute disarray, I would say. And it sounds crazy because yes, they were all quality players. There was Rooney, there was Van Persie, and You name it, they were there, but they were coming towards their twilight. In came David Moyes. Unfortunately, couldn't handle the chaos. Louis van Gaal came in. Still, it didn't work for him as well. Given his pedigree, Jose Mourinho, arguably one of the most charismatic football managers, got us to a very good, promising first season. And unfortunately, when it didn't work for him, Solskjaer was an emotional appointment who did well. Thought he tried his best. And again, when it came to the pressure situation, it just didn't work for Oli. Ragnick again was trying to be very vocal, and yeah. So we've got Eric Ten Hag, who finally, I think, I would say that we've actually got a coach with a technical pedigree who is probably now at the peak of his coaching career after a very good time at Ajax. But the problem, it's now, I think, quite there to see. We've had 5 managers. The problem probably doesn't exist with the managers, and it has to come from the top. And the top is rotten. The top is absolutely garbage, and it comes from the Glazers. The Glazers took over the club in 2005, and the only club, or rather the only owner to have taken money out of the club to clear their own debt, and the debt is still 600 odd million. None of the spendings have come from their pocket. It has come from us fans, global fans, fans going for the games. They have not done anything. The system is, like I said, it's very rotten, and they have not hired a sporting director. Carrington, which was once regarded as one of the best training grounds, nothing has worked. They've only gone for star-studded signings, and it's quite clear that spending money wasn't going to guarantee success. They are far behind, which I don't think we would have even expected this 10 years ago, far behind Manchester City, far behind Liverpool, far behind Chelsea. It all comes down to Glazers, Woodward during his time. I think this last 10 years is probably going to go down as one of the most horrifying Manchester United face. Cristiano Ronaldo has been there. Even there's another issue. Everything was going right for Ten Hag as he was preparing for the season. The Ronaldo situation has been very poor. The signings have been for PR related. We have a protest tonight at the game at Old Trafford, and I really hope that the protest goes out as loud as ever, because this rotten lot needs to get booted out of the football club. We need Sir Jim Ratcliffe. The decline is so visible. There's been no stadium development. There's no structure in place. And everything that has been their PR motive driven, commercially driven, and nothing that has been there on the football side of things to put the club. We've got a good manager, but again, this lot will set another manager to fail. This can't happen. We need you, Sir Jim Ratcliffe.
That's all I have for you in this episode. Thanks for listening.